everyone, this is part 2 of my Loop Engage comparison. If you didn't watch my previous videos on Loop, I own 6 pairs of loops, non-sponsored, bought every single pair with my own money. I now have in my hands the brand new Loop Engage, which they just put out, as well as Loop Experience and Loop Experience Plus, which is in here. And I don't want to get too far into the comparing and contrasting of like what they look like, what the cases are like, because I did speak about that in a previous video. This video is going to be about how they sound. So I love Experience. I have tried the Quiet and I just don't like them. Experience is where it's at. Experience Pro I do own, don't really use them. I just take like the little mutes out and they just become regular Experience, because I find that the mutes just, it's too much, and I can't hear. And the thing I like most about these earplugs is the fact that when you put them in, everything just is dampened. You can hear so clearly. And also the way that the sound goes into the earplugs, it's like if someone's speaking to me, I can hear them. With like the regular earplugs that you get at the drugstore, can't really do that. Everything is really muffled. It sucks. I don't like it. So I swear by these. So I have these 3 pairs. And we are going to see. So we are going to test the Engage to the Experience to the Experience Pro. And the thing about the Engage, it's like new and exciting, and it's an improvement apparently on the Experience, because the one thing about the Experience that I had a problem with, but I didn't say anything, but apparently a lot of other people had a problem with, was the fact that while it was awesome, like with outward noise, it really amplified your inside noises. So if your stomach growled, it was like so loud. If you were chewing, it was so annoying because it just was so loud in like your ears. Talking, it was also pretty loud, but that's to be expected just because it's talking. That's like all earplugs. That kind of stuff. Swallowing, just like the sounds that come from inside of you were just like so amplified. I also did realize that when I did wear the Experience, anything directly in front of me would be like HD. Like if I was like unwrapping a candy bar, it would be like so loud, which was awesome because I felt like that's what was able to make me hear people speaking to me in a really loud venue so clearly, because anything that's directly in front of you comes through so clearly. So that was like meh. So I have these. We're gonna put them in. And if you have like piercings in your ears, they don't really sit right, but I spoke about that in a previous video, so you can go watch that. So, you know, right now they're in, my ears are plugged. I don't feel anything unusual. Again, like I haven't put the rest of them in my ears. So yeah, it just feels like I'm wearing earplugs. I got crackers, so we can do a food test. Listen, I'm on my last, so I'm crinkling the bag and I can hear it pretty clearly. Like it kind of feels like I don't have these in, like that's how clearly I can hear it, which again is something that I like. I'm gonna take 1 cracker. I mean, their inside sounds like, even if you're not wearing earplugs, like you hear yourself chewing, especially if it's crunchy. But again, I have 0 point of reference. Ooh. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to take these out and I'm going to switch to the Experience and do the exact same thing. So these are the Gold Experience. Let's stick them in here. Okay, so funnily enough, I actually hear myself speaking like a little bit clearer. I don't know if it's because the acoustic channel is a little bit different, but it doesn't feel louder, but it feels more clear, if that makes any sense. Whereas the Engage did feel a little bit more muffled. I think out of what's going on right now, speaking wise, I really do prefer wearing the Experience. Here's a cracker, doing the cracker test. Bag crinkle test. Okay, so I definitely hear everything clearer than I did with the Engage. Like, I feel like the Engage was just ever so slightly more muffled than the Experience. Like, everything's still dampened. I would say like about the same, but when I'm hearing the noises, it's much more clear. Like, I don't even know how to explain this because I'm not good at explaining like sounds, but it's kind of like, you know, when back in the day when people had like stereo systems in their houses, like the big fancy ones, which I guess they might still have, but you're like playing with like the toggles of like to, you know, like mess with the sound quality. Like, it was kind of like that when you would like turn it one way, or like the vocals would get super clear, and then you turn it the other way, and then the vocals would dampen, and then the bass would get super clear. Like, this one's the one where you like turn it and the vocals on the music you're listening to are clear. Then, you know, the resulting musical accompaniment. So these are Experience. We're gonna take them out. Whew, okay. The Experience Pro does have, for anyone who is watching this and doesn't know, they are the same thing as Experience. Oh, and now I feel like I'm like too loud. But they have like this little like silicone ear gauge looking situation where if you take them out, they're just Experience. But if you put them back in, they're Experience Pro because it dampens the sound ever so slightly. But really, like, the amount of loop earplugs I have is like too many pairs. Hello? Okay, so I do feel way more muffled. I feel with the Experience Pro, I'm more muffled in speaking than the Engage. We're gonna go full circle. I'm gonna put the Engage in after this because this is like the most, not the most muted. Like, I don't, like I said, I don't own the Quiets because my friend owns them and she really likes them. But I see too many like rock concerts to be using the Quiets, so I've chosen these. So I do feel really muted. I really don't feel like my inside sounds are any quiet, like my talking at least has really been affected. Oh, let's crinkle the bag. I still hear it really clearly. I feel right now that when I'm speaking, it's just very muffled, and I attribute that to the mute. Let's get a cracker. I can't say it's any louder than, am I yelling? I can't say it's any louder than the Experience or the Engage. I don't usually eat like this. I'm just trying to crunch it to make the most noise possible. Like, please don't think that I actually ate like this because that's gross. Yeah, there's a reason why I never wear the Experience Pros. I really don't like them. Like, it's just too like muffly. And if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm wiping my hands on my hoodie because I'm disgusting. Yeah, these are just not the ones that I prefer. It's too like, you're like underwater. I don't like them. But it's okay, because once I take the mutes out, they just become regular experiences. And I have the mutes just in case. Okay. Now, after all of that, we're going to put the Engage back in. I'm going to try one more time. These are in between Experience and Experience Pros in terms of crackers. In terms of how I sound to myself when I am speaking, you know. We're gonna try this again. Another crunchy crunch. I don't really hear that much difference. One more time with the Experience. Because the Experience Pros are out. They're not for me. So I honestly feel that the Engage, I could personally do without. I have so many pairs of Experience that now that I'm testing them side by side, I do prefer the Experience. I don't find that the quality, the sound quality of like my insides has changed. Like, I feel like what I hear wearing the Engage out of myself versus what I hear wearing the Experience are so close that like the difference is negligible. And the muting of the sounds, I bought these because I want to wear them and do things in life and still be able to hear things, but just not aggravate the concussion that I have, that I don't know if it's ever going to go away. And I hate being one of those people who wear earplugs, because I do have friends who wear earplugs of different types, where when you speak to them, they have to be like, what? And then you tell them what you need to tell them, and they're like, ah, and then they put their earplug back in, and then you need to tell them something else, and they're like, huh? Like, I think that's just so obnoxious, and Loop does allow me to hear everybody very clearly. I don't have to be taking them in and out constantly. I don't have to be like, what? Into the good ear, you know, speak up. Like, I don't want to do that. So the appeal for me is that they are very aesthetically pleasing. They look cute, which is aesthetically pleasing. And I don't have to take them in and out. Like, I have, when I'm wearing them, I have the advantage of not having a headache, being able to hear other people clearly in loud spaces, and they don't even have to yell. Whereas when I'm talking to them without earplugs, the background noise is not being like dampened and they can't hear me, which is so funny because I'm the one wearing earplugs. I do own these now. I'm not going to return them or anything, but I will say that, like, I could have just stuck with Experience. I really could have. Like, it's just the change between the Experience versus the Engage is not big enough for me to be switching to Engage. And again, that's just me. So yeah, for me, these weren't really worth it. I would honestly stick with the Experience, and besides, the Experience looks so much cooler. They're like metallic, and these are translucent, and they look like earrings or jewelry in your ears. It's more awesome. Anyway, so this is the end of my video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!